Good morning. President Biden overseas this weekend for his first foreign trip as president, but he's facing some big challenges back home. While the overall situation with the pandemic is getting a lot better, it's looking more and more like the president may fall short of his goal to have 70% of the country vaccinated by the 4th of July. He's also faced some challenges getting his infrastructure plan through the Senate, with a bipartisan group of senators now hoping to finally reach a deal. That's just one of the topics our Kristen Eskow addressed in a one-on-one interview this week with Indiana Senator Todd Young.
We can still legislate in this country and do important things if we work together.
Senator Todd Young says he's holding out hope Congress can pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill.
I think the president should take an approach related to infrastructure like I'm taking with the Endless Frontier Act.
Young sponsors that bill, which passed the U.S. Senate days ago on a 68-32 vote. He says it's meant to make the U.S. more competitive against China in science and technology.
Ultimately, we need to outgrow, out-innovate, and outcompete the Chinese Communist Party. We can only do that by doing what we did post-World War II, which is investing in ourselves. Our human capital, like we invested in the GI Bill. We invested in people's training and education. This is a bipartisan measure, the most sweeping, toughest anti-Chinese Communist Party piece of legislation ever.
Getting tough is what Young says he wants to see from President Biden as he meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin this week. The trip to Europe comes not long after Russian criminal groups were linked to massive cyber attacks.
One of the things that the President of the United States must communicate unambiguously to Vladimir Putin, perhaps communicate through action, is that we can punch back harder than we take a punch. We have an offensive cyber capability that could really be injurious to Vladimir Putin and to his cronies.
Young says both government and private entities need to step up their cybersecurity.
One of the things we have to recognize is the federal government isn't hardened to the extent we should be. We need to get far better at operational security, that is making sure that we're utilizing our devices and our computers in safe and secure fashions, that we have secure passwords, and that we have all the hardware installed that's needed to keep out others. In terms of being more outwardly facing and working with companies and individuals, we still have some work to do, and I look forward to working with private industry and others to take whatever measures are necessary.
Is that work regarding businesses going to need to include regulations to ensure businesses have the right protections in place?
Well, it may. We need to only regulate with our eyes wide open and in a fully informed way. Congress tried to address this working with the administration several years ago, and at the time a decision was made to allow companies to voluntarily report attacks that they had experienced on their systems. We may have to rethink that.
And Dan, of course, cybersecurity, a big topic at the G7.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This week, world leaders talking about that and many other issues.